Okay, good morning. I'm going to try and walk you through how I make a whittled wooden toy from start to finish. So this is what I've got so far. I'm going to make a little wooden dragon. I've settled on this design. I want it to be kind of dog-like because I think that would be cute. And he's going to be breathing fire and he's going to have a little curly tail. What I've done is transfer it to the wood via these lines. These basically give me the proportions of the sculpture I'm going to make. You want to do at least 2 of the sides so that you can imagine what he will look like in 3D. The only things that I'm going to do separately are these wings, because the grain will have to go the other direction, and this tail piece here because I think it's going to be too delicate to carve straight onto the wood. Okay, I've moved to the garage and I'm going to take away the first piece of wood with my coping saw. This is a don't mind the piece of tape. This is a coping saw and it allows you to cut curves in small pieces of wood. Originally I think it's used for staircase and furniture making, but it's incredibly useful for whittling. Unfortunately, the first thing you're going to have to do is cut away the plan you just drew, so that's going to make it a little more complicated. It's looking promising. That's our base block all cut out now. I would advise that sometimes if you don't have enough of the base block to clamp anymore, you can just cut down into the wood and then whittle down to it, as that preserves its strength. Okay, pattern is redrawn. This is my favourite part of carving, going from blank to beginning to carve. Oh, do you like my nails, by the way? I've, under duress, been given some painted nails. I asked my sisters to spare these 2 so that I can still, play guitar and do whatever else. So obviously you want to be a bit slow and careful when you're first blocking out, because any wrong cut and you might take off too much of the weight. It's not impossible to improvise and come up with something different, but always best to try and do your best to avoid cutting off something you didn't mean to, especially in the early stages. It's going well, I think. He's looking very dog-like at the moment. It's the next day and I'm carrying on. I've just finished sanding our little dragon now. He's looking much better. Yeah, so quite smooth. There's some bits that I'm having trouble with. One of them is that he's got a twist in his tail. However, I reckon he'd look nicer if he had a little hole so that you can see all the way through, and it would really sell the illusion that it's, curled up. Also, in my plan he's got little toes, and I don't want to pass up the toes just because I'm scared that I might crack his feet. I'm gonna see if I can find... I had like a rotary carver at one point. Because I wouldn't need to press, I would just take away the wood. I think that would do a better job of carving tiny details that wouldn't crack his feet off. And put a hole in his tail. The lighting in here is just like one singular bulb, so I kind of look like I'm being taken hostage, sorry about that. These are the smallest bits I have, so it's going to be kind of tight, but I'll see what I can do. Do not want him to crack at this stage. He's got a little hole in his tail, hooray! Now that we've got the body of the dragon mostly complete, I'm going to carve his little wings. I've got the wing marked out on this block now. This was my pattern here. Annoyingly, the shape is kind of hard to cut out. I think because it's so sort of complex, it's got like 4 planes. I was planning to do it with my chisels, but I don't think it'll stay in the clamp, so I might need to do it all by hand, which is fine. It should be quite fun. It's quite a good shape to carve, but it might take a little while. I made the mistake last time of cutting out the shape of the wing before I'd carved it, so this time I've clamped it first and I'm chiselling it now, and then I'm going to cut it out later. Today I shall endeavour to attach his wings. I've got to carve away a little divot with my chisels. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it for the wing sockets, as it were. You know, like they do in pottery, where they do the slip and score thing when you attach 2 pieces together. I might try and do a similar thing where I'll cut little divots into the joint of the wing and then put some sawdust in the glue, and hopefully it will help to secure it. Our little dragon is fully whittled. I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm fairly certain the wings won't come off, so There's the connection there, you see, and obviously the little tail piece. So now I think it's high time for paint. I believe the little dragon is complete. I'll give you some glamour shots. Okay, thank you for following along. I hope you liked this video. I hope you follow along for more.